In a quiet coffee shop, Ethan sat nervously, his hands trembling as he rehearsed the impossible request he was about to make. Across the room sat Lila, a kind-hearted kindergarten teacher lost in her thoughts. Ethan's daughter, Mia, was about to celebrate her 7th birthday, and all she could talk about was her mommy coming home. But her mother had left years ago, leaving Ethan to raise her alone. He couldn't bear to see her heart break again. Gathering his courage, he approached Lila and said, "This might sound crazy, but can you pretend to be my wife for 1 week? It's for my daughter." Lila was stunned, thinking it must be a joke, but when she saw the pain and desperation in his eyes, she realized it wasn't. The story poured out of him, the birthday, the lies, the little girl waiting for someone who would never come. Moved by his honesty, Lila took a deep breath and said softly, "I'll help you." That one sentence would change all their lives. The first few days were awkward. Lila tried to adjust to being mommy, while Ethan struggled to hide his gratitude. Their small house, once silent and lonely, filled with laughter. Lila cooked breakfast with Mia, helped her with schoolwork, and even taught Ethan how to braid her hair. Slowly, the walls between them began to fade. Lila found herself looking forward to their mornings together, and Ethan couldn't stop smiling at the sound of his daughter's laughter. The neighbors believed they were a perfect little family, and for the first time in years, Ethan didn't correct them. Every evening felt warmer, every meal more meaningful. What began as an act started to feel real. Ethan began to realize that this stranger wasn't just helping his daughter, she was bringing love and life back into their home, something he thought he'd lost forever. On Mia's birthday, the house glowed with balloons, laughter, and the smell of cake. Ethan looked around and felt a peace he hadn't known in years. But that peace shattered when a guest unknowingly mentioned that mommy wasn't real. The room fell silent. Mia's eyes widened in confusion, then filled with tears as she turned to Lila. Guilt and heartbreak flooded Lila's face. She whispered an apology and ran out, unable to face the child she'd grown to love. Ethan followed her into the night, calling her name. When he found her standing in tears, he said quietly, "I asked you to save my daughter, but you ended up saving me too." Lila cried, confessing she had started to care for both of them deeply. Just then, Mia ran out, holding a piece of birthday cake. "Mommy, don't go," she said through her tears. That one word broke every wall left between them. Lila knelt, hugging the little girl tightly, as Ethan watched, his heart full. What started as a one-week act had turned into something real, a promise of love, family, and a future none of them had expected.